been no conviction. Ayo, caramel shell. It's camel, guys. Oh my god. Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Hello, Neon. Hello, Camel. What's up, Neon? How are you? I hope everyone had a nice day today. I hope they had like a good dinner. Nice dinner, had a nice evening. How is everyone? Check mic 1 2 3. I don't know if you guys can hear me and shit, cause like I can't open my phone. The reason why, because like earlier today my phone suddenly like got locked out for no reason, and when I it was for no reason so suddenly, and when I checked, it says that the sim oh bolok bar.
Did I jump scare you?
uh,
I
Bodo, I bet that was
did. You make me sick.
see, I told you
Your
it's
weakness
daddy.
is pathetic.
So like I said, my phone got locked out for no reason. Taro, hello, welcome. My phone got locked out for no reason. The SIM card company locked my phone out, and I was so like like kambing let's say. I was like freaking confused because like there was a message. It says that because uh it's my phone got locked. Good way to start Friday, but my phone got locked out because of reports that it was missing and shit, or I have these what you call it, overwhelming balances that I hadn't paid, and wih bodoh, tuh ko dito sa ko to ka telepon na nik sa mga adam ko na lock. Oh, na pala. Jo phone tu pante ah. Man sa punta dito. So, so apa tadi saya cakap apa? Lupa sudah. What did I say? I forgot. What the fuck? Where did I stop talking? She's watching too much prawn and she got virus and scam. No, 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 no. So I got confused because I don't have these sudden overwhelming balances, and even if like my the that the what you call, the reload expired, it never locks me out of my phone. So this was like, yeah, prepaid, yeah, but this was like the first time I got something like this happen to me. And then so I called the phone, the sim company, and and as we were talking, you know, shit stuff and stuff, they asked me if the phone that I was using had a contract with the number that I was using. I was like, I don't know, because like the phone my parents bought from someone, like an independent seller, you know. So that means like they didn't bought from a store. So usually, so this is what they told me. Usually, when you buy a phone from a store, like the SIM card company store, right, from a phone, they're gonna like try to link, try to bind that phone with your SIM card as a contract, so you will always pay your dues on time, right? So what happened was that that phone, I think the person who sold them had linked that phone to a different number, and it was in contract with a different number, and basically my parents got scammed lah. So the help center told me like I should try to ask my parents about the person, ask for the person's name, their um identification number, only the last four digits. Ask for of what the person's number that they use to bind with that phone. But basically, I think it's futile already lah, because it's been a long time. Most that you already got scam and shit. So rotten mango shit. Yep, I mean, talk about fuck you lah. Can you believe her? She's laughing at her parents' misery. I mean, I'm not laughing lah, but it's not really my money. But anyways, so yeah, like me, me, my younger brother, and my another of my brother, the three phones got blocked today. So I do not have a phone, so I can only keep in contact with you through my laptop. Uh, anyways, my one of my brothers said like he thinks that the only way to like get it to get on unlock is try to find someone to bypass it, but it's gonna be difficult to find someone who's that skilled. So I don't know lah. It is what it is. Can't do nothing about it. Contacting people through Twitch. I I meant like there's WhatsApp, Telegram. I can log in my Telegram from my laptop. I can go Discord on my laptop, but I can't go log in my WhatsApp through my laptop because you need the phone to scan the QR code to log in. So is your phone still blocked? Yeah. Cannot be helped lah. What can we do? I who uses Telegram told me there's still people who uses Telegram. It's safe. I still use Telegram to talk with someone. Ooh. So yeah, it's safe. You guys don't believe me, Bobby. Anyway, so this is the first night of Spoopy Friday. I checked the submissions in the text channel, right? Shadow's the only one who said some submissions, but like they were all like from what you children, spooky children folklores, right? Malam, semakin seram betul. uh, but I haven't like went through with these PDFs yet because yeah, I'll just try to have it installed first. Ayo. Not install, download. Chapters. He sent a link as well. Alright, and I also have like some Reddits we can read. As in Spoopy standards for. So you're calling me Shiro Poopy? Is that it, Bobby? Okay, so this is the link. Scary stories, more tales to chill your bones. But I think can change to something creepy lah, right? Background, some background, right? Alright. Ooh. Let me just change the volume a little bit. If you guys can't hear me properly at one point, please let me know. Let's see. Creepy background rain sound. Storage mode. I just want. Okay, this is what I use next time, right? It's not that creepy. Alright, is this okay? If I remember correctly, at one point of this one, there's gonna be like a woman screaming. I might get like freaking scared out of my shit. Put Alan Walker faded in the background. What you mean Alan Walker faded? That's Bodola faded. This is a pop song lah. Bodo. Alright. So if everyone's ready, let's try to pick one. I'm gonna try to read um three from this that Shadow submitted. So it's just delicious. Let me use an echo. Yeah, hell yeah. Is this okay? Everyone can hear me properly? Ooh woo. It's perfect for spooky stories. What you mean? Oh yo. Okay. So the first one is titled Just Delicious. Submission by Shadow. This story appears in a book called Scary Stories 3 More Tales to Chill Your Bones. A retelling of a story featured in Louis C. Jones' Things That Go Bump in the Night. What the fuck? Bump in the Night, eh? So the plot goes George Flint loved to eat. What that is that? Reverb? Reverb. Is the reverb okay? I'm trying to go for like, I hear deep echo. Bodo! Anjing! I mean, is the reverb okay? Should I not use reverb? I was just trying to get into the like a freaking spooky vibe. If it's not okay, I'll close reverb. All right. Is it okay? Or should I let reverb on? It's just funny with your way of talk. Okay, no reverb, Bobby. Now you're making me conscious. It's not gonna be spooky lah if you're trying to make fun of me, Bobby. I hate all of you. I swear, bro. Son of a bitch. Alright. Bodo! Ayah! Okay, is this okay? Is this okay? Alright. So let's begin, okay? Let's be honest, you're the only one that's gonna get spooked. Enough lah. George Flint loved to eat. Each day at noon, he'd close his camera shop for 2 hours and went home for a big lunch his wife Mina cooked for him. George was a bully, and Mina was a timid woman who did everything he asked because she was afraid of him. On his way home for lunch one day, George stopped at the butcher shop and bought a pound of liver. He loved liver. He would have Mina cook it for dinner that night. Despite all his complaints about her, she was a very good cook. While George ate his lunch, Mina told him that a rich old woman in town had died. Her body was in the church next door. Sorry. It was in an open coffin. Anyone who wanted to see her could. As usual, George was not interested in what she had to say. I've got to go back to work, he told her. After he left, Mina began to cook the liver. She added vegetables and spices and simmered it all afternoon, just the way George liked it. When she thought it was done, she cut off a small piece and tasted it. Oh, I think I kind of know the story. It was delicious, the best she had ever made. She ate a second piece, then a third. It was so good she could not stop eating it. It was only when the liver was all gone that she thought of George. He would be coming home soon. What would he do when he found that she had eaten all of the liver? Some men would laugh, but not George. He would be angry and mean, and she did not want to face that again. But where could she get another piece of liver that late in the day? Then she remembered the old woman lying in the church next door waiting to be buried. George said he had never had a better dinner. "Have some liver, Mina," he said. "It's just delicious." "I'm not hungry," she said. "You finish it." That night, after George had fallen asleep, Mina sat in bed trying to read, but all she could think about was what she had done. Then she thought she heard the woman's voice. Okay, I'm gonna use the reverb. "Who has my liver?" it asked. "Who has it?" Was it her imagination? Was she dreaming? Oh, was she dreaming? Now the voice was closer. "Who has my liver?" Oh, you. It asked. "Who has it?" Mina wanted to run. "No, no," she whispered. It is spooky background music. But I don't want to get the MCA, that's why it says arrange something shit. I don't have it. I don't have your liver." Now, the voice was right next to her. "Who has my liver?" it asked. "Who has it?" I cannot. Mina froze with terror. She pointed to George. "He does," she said. "He has it." Suddenly, the light went out, and George screamed and screamed. Ayo. Ah, my God. I think I've seen an animation about this story before. Yeah, I think it's similar. It is the same. What the fuck? What the fuck you laughing about, Neon? Fuck you. Fuck you too, daddy. Ayo. Oy! Setan. Bodo. All of you. Bodo. Okay, um let's find something in this section. Uh in a minute, mind. What do you guys want to choose, or should I just randomly choose? If no one's replying, I just choose. Mm, 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 mm. Maybe you will remember. Let's read this one. So it's a story about a young girl and her mother who are taking a vacation. But as the girl's mother falls ill, the girl begins to question her sanity. Aww. The story goes, Mrs. Gibbs and her 16-year-old daughter Rosemary arrived in Paris on a hot morning in July. They had been on a vacation and now were returning home. Mrs. Gibbs did not feel well, so they decided to rest in Paris for a few days before going on. The city was crowded with tourists. Still, they found a place to stay at a good hotel. They had a lovely room overlooking a park. It had yellow walls, a blue carpet, and white furniture. As soon as they unpacked, Mrs. Gibbs went to bed. She looked so pale that Rosemary asked to have the hotel's doctor examine her. Rosemary did not speak French, but fortunately the doctor spoke English. He took one look at Mrs. Gibbs and said, "Okay, I'm gonna try to use a French accent, okay? Your mother is too sick to travel. Tomorrow I will move her to a hospital, but she needs a certain medicine. If you go to my home for it will save time." The doctor said he did not have a phone right now. Instead, he would give Rosemary a note for his wife. The hotel manager put Rosemary in a taxi and, in French, told the driver how to find the doctor's house. It will take only a little while, he told her, and the taxi will bring you back. As the driver slowly drove up one street and down another, it seemed to take forever. At one point, Rosemary was sure they had gone down the same street twice. It took almost as long for the doctor's wife to answer the door, then get the medicine ready. As Rosemary sat on a bench in the empty waiting room, she kept thinking, "Why can't you hurry? Please hurry." Then she heard a phone ring someplace in the house. Doctor had said he didn't have a phone right now. What was going on? They drove back as slowly as they had come, crawling up one street and down another. Rosemary sat in the back seat filled with dread, her mother's medicine clutched in her hand. Why was everything taking so long? She was sure the taxi driver was going in the wrong direction. "Are you going to the right hotel?" she asked. He didn't answer. She asked again, but still he didn't reply. When he stopped for a traffic light, she threw open the door and ran from the cab. She stopped a woman on the street. The woman did not speak English, but she knew someone who did. Rosemary was right. The taxi had been driving in the wrong direction. When she finally got back to the hotel, it was early evening. She went up to the desk clerk who had given them their room. "I'm Rosemary Gibbs," she said. "My mother and I are in room 505. May I please have the key?" The clerk looked at her closely. "You must be mistaken," he said. "There is another guest in that room. Are you sure you are in the right hotel?" He turned to help someone else. She waited until he was finished. "You gave us that room yourself when we came this morning," she said. "How could you forget?" He stared at her like she had lost her mind. "You must be mistaken," he said. "I have never seen you before. Are you sure you are in the right hotel?" She asked to see the registration card they had filled out when they arrived. "It's June and Rosemary Gibbs," she said. The clerk looked in the file. "We have no card for you," he said. "You must be in the wrong hotel." "The hotel doctor will know me," Rosemary replied. "He examined my mother when we arrived. He sent me for medicine she needs. I want to see him." The doctor came downstairs. "Here is the medicine for my mother," Rosemary said, holding it out to him. "Your wife gave it to me." "I have never seen you before," he said. "You must be in the wrong hotel." She asked for the hotel manager who had put her in the taxi. Surely he will remember her. "You must be in the wrong hotel," he said. "Let me give you a room where you can rest. Then maybe you will remember where you and your mother are staying." "I want to see our room," Rosemary said, raising her voice. "It's room 505. It was nothing like the room she had remembered. It had a double bed, not twin beds. The furniture was black, not white. The carpet was green, not blue. There was someone else's clothing in the closet. The room she knew had vanished. So had her mother. Eh, 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 eh. Allah, MNJ astaga. Oh my god, thank you. MJ, thank you for the gifted subs. Welcome back to my stream. How are you? You didn't need to. Thank you very much. How are you? How was your day? You know I still love you despite everything.
Oh yeah.
How are you? What the fuck? Oh, how is everything? How was your day? How was the night? Just getting started. Reading the spoopy stories they've submitted. Thanks for the chat. I'm doing fine, you guys. Are you okay? Is everything okay? What you mean, you guess? Do you need some zero vitamin kiss? Mwah. Ayo. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs again. Really appreciate it. Let me add some Haiti, but I'm suffering the after cramps now. What you mean after cramps? Haiti? What's Haiti? Is it a good tea but also had some side effects? Is that what you mean? Or is it that time of the month and you're drinking some tea? It which gives you no cramps? No? Bodo, daddy. You think I'm gonna you think I'm gonna get scared again while I'm being serious right now? No, yeah, not now. Hate is boba milk tea brand. Oh, sesakit perut lah eh. Faham? Drinking tea does that to you, tapi you just can't stop drinking even if it gives you like cramps. I've never heard of Haiti before. I don't think we have Haiti here. Is it only a brand in the peninsula? Yes, can't stop myself betul. Uh, but lately I used to drink a lot of tea, like tea life, and just trying out which are good. But like most of them just doesn't make me feel addicted for. Maybe not my taste lah, tapi so I would just like come back occasionally. Mainly in China now in Malaysia. TRX then today opening in Penang. Hey yo, so they're expanding. That's good. So yeah, right now tonight I'm doing a spoopy Friday night. It's a what you call it? Um, stream segment. Stream segment, is that should I call it like that? Suggested by a good friend. So basically, you guys submit some spoopy stories, whether it's like Reddit or like two sentences horror like that. I will read it for in stream. So who's into teas? I'm kind of scared to answer that, Daddy. But me, yes, I am into. Mm,
Teas nuts.
mm. Both. Malah aku. I'm tired like this. Sudah, sudah, enough, cukup. Ayo. Um, yeah. So I'm doing this like every 2 weeks on a Friday night. So if I don't know if you're into these type of stuff, if you want to stay and chill, listen to these stories, listening to me scream because of daddy's redeems, feel free. You are always welcome. Uwu. Here for sure, cutie love. No, it's not so scary anymore. Enough. All of you trying to distract me, and then when I least expect it, you will make scare me, right? Understand? You receive you receive a level 1 hype train emote. Level 1 hype train. Hey yo. Oh yeah. Where did I stop? Where did I stop? Okay. So had her mother. This is not the room, she said. Where's my mother? What have you done with her? You are in the wrong hotel, the manager the manager said patiently, as if he were speaking to a young child. Will? Rosemary asked to see the police. My mother, our things, the room have disappeared, she told them. Are you Oh, look, but... Daddy Labodo. Not like this. Are you sure you are in the right hotel?
I just
They
needed you
asked.
to know. I love you.
This one I'm not scared. Love you too. She went to her embassy for help. Are you sure it's the right hotel? They asked. Rosemary thought she was losing her mind. Why don't you rest here for a while? They said. Then maybe you'll remember. But Rosemary's problem was not her memory. It was what she did not know. When the hotel doctor saw Mrs. Gibbs, he knew at once that she was about to die. Oh, look, but... Thanks for the sub. Good night. Why are you gazing? Where are you going, Daddy? I got scared of note. She had a form of the plague, a dread disease that killed quickly and caused very frightening epidemics. If the word got out that a woman had died of the plague in the heart of Paris, there would be panic. Boy. Still props as a support, you know. People in the hotel and elsewhere would rush to escape. The doctor knew what the hotel's owners expected. He was to keep the case a secret, or else they would lose lots of money. To get Rosemary out of the way, the doctor sent her to the other side of Paris for some worthless medicine. As he expected, Mrs. Gibbs died soon after she left. Her body was smuggled out of the hotel to a cemetery, where it was buried. A team of workmen quickly repainted the room and replaced everything in it. The desk clerks were ordered to tell Rosemary that she was in the wrong hotel. When she insisted on seeing her room, it had become a different place, and, of course, her mother had vanished. All those involved were warned that they would lose their jobs if they gave away the secret. To avoid panic in the city, the police and newspapers agreed to say nothing of the death. No police reports were filed. No news stories appeared. It was as if Rosemary's mother and her room had never existed. Oh, but damn, that's kind of twisted. It's more twisted than horror scary actually. In an alternate version of the story, Rosemary and her mother have separate rooms, and while Rosemary goes to bed, her mom passes away at night. The hotel staff quickly removes the mom's dead body and quickly redecorates the room. When Rosemary gets up the next morning and can't find her mom, everyone pretends not to know anything of her mom, claiming Rosemary was there alone. In other versions, Rosemary discovered the truth about what happened to her mom herself. She bribes an employee of the hotel who tells her the truth, or she becomes so upset and confused that she has a mental breakdown and is admitted to an asylum for the rest of her life. Oh my god. That's so fucking... That's fucked up, to be honest. Oh, I'm surprised this this is good. This is kind of fucked up and it's kind of good. Yeah. This next to this one. There's something wrong. Hey, huh? Is something wrong? Is the 20-second scary story from da da da? The story is meant to be comedic, inspired by comedic. Okay. A man's car broke down late at night way out in the country. After remembering passing an empty house minutes before the car broke down, the driver of the car decided to stay the night there in order to get sleep. While in the house, he found wood in the corner of the living room and made a fire in the fireplace. Thereafter, he covered himself with his coat and slept. The fire went out, freezing the room and awakening the driver. The man decided to get help when it nearly became morning. Failing to fall back to sleep as a large crash occurred, something large fell out of the chimney and lay on the floor for about a minute before it stood up and stared down at him. The man looked at the creature once and was horrified by how its appearance, provoking him to immediately start running until he paused long enough to be able to jump out of a window. After jumping through the window, the driver continued running until he stopped due to his lungs hurting. As the driver stood in the road panting and trying to catch his breath, he felt something tap him on the shoulder. Turning around, he was confronted by the creature, who asked him, "Is something wrong?" Oh, I don't see where it seems funny though. I guess the part where he had to jump out of the window. But this picture is kind of spooky though. Look at those eyes. They're bulging out of that big ass skeleton. It's giving me chills. Ugh. Okay, next. I said I would do 3 of these, but yeah. Let's just choose someone. Because I'm kind of like what you call it? Kind of hooked on to it now. Sam's new pet. EU. The heck? What the fuck? It's ugly, huh? Before that, mate. Ja 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 ja. Ja 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 ja. Da da da. Ugly lah siya. How is this possible? Hmm? How is this possible? Mate. Okay, let's go for this. Oh wait, no. Okay, this one. Mm -mm 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 -mm. Okay. Right. Wait, sorry. Okay. Oh. Okay. That's good. Right. There you go. Okay. Alright. Okay, I'm done. I just wanted to do that. So let's start. Sam stayed with his grandmother when his parents went to Mexico for their vacation. "We are going to bring you back something nice," his mother told him. It will be a surprise. Neon, what I missed? Nothing. You didn't miss anything, but me, MJ did uh, gave 5 gifted subs, and yeah, that's it. You didn't miss a lot. You missed one of the stories reading, yo. It will be a surprise. Before they came home, Sam's parents looked for something Sam would like. All they could find was a beautiful sombrero. It cost too much, but at afternoon, while they were eating their lunch in the park, they decided to buy the sombrero after all. Sam's note bedtime story. やばい. Where is it? Sam's father threw what was left of their sandwiches to some stray dogs, and they walked back to the marketplace. One of the animals followed them. It was a small, gray creature with short hair, short legs, and a long tail. Wherever they went, it went. Isn't he cute? Cute? Sam's mother said. He must be one of those Mexican hairless dogs. Sam would love him. He's probably somebody's pet, Sam's father said. They asked several people if they knew who its owners were, but no one did. They just smiled and shrugged their shoulders. Finally, Sam's mother said, Maybe he's just a stray. Let's take him home with us. We can give him a good home, and Sam will love him. It is against the law to take a pet across the border, but Sam's parents hid the animal in a box and no one saw it. When they got home, they showed it to Sam. He's a pretty small dog, said Sam. He's a Mexican dog, his father said. I'm not sure what kind. I think it's called a Mexican hairless. Wow. Sembarana saja agas nama. We'll find out. But he's nice, isn't he? They gave the new pet some dog food. Then they washed it and brushed it and combed its fur. That night it slept on Sam's bed. When Sam awakened the next morning, his pet was still there. Mother, he called, the dog has a cold. The animal's eyes were running, and there was something white around its mouth. Later that morning, Sam's mother took it to a veterinarian. You know? And then the dog bit their heads off. What the fuck? The end. Where did you get him? The vet asked. In Mexico, she said. We think he's a Mexican hairless. I was going to ask you about that. He's not a hairless, the vet said. He's not even a dog. He's a sewer rat, and he has rabies. How is this a rat? Oh, how is this a rat? What the fuck? But the ending is funny though. This is more funny than the last dog, Ohio dog. Oh my god. Okay, let's do one more from this submission. Does anyone want to choose anything? Maybe MJ, do you want to choose anything, MJ, from this list? I don't know if she's still here though. Read the story in reverb. Why? You said you said it's stupid, Lanion. You said I sound like a dweeb. You said I sound like a dweeb. I think MJ is lurking, right? I don't think she can hear me. I said it's funny, not stupid. You always sound like a dweeb. Babi. Fuck you ah. Anjing. Let's just randomly choose. I'm gonna close my eyes and choose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Click. a new horse. Ugh. Brother, ugh. Okay, okay, I'll try to read this whole story in reverb, and you better not fucking laugh. Okay. So this is called A New Horse. It tells the story of a spell which can turn a person into a horse. The fuck? Two farmhands shared a room. One slept at the back of the room. Bodo. The other slept near the door. After a while, the one who slept near the door began to feel very tired early in the day. His friend asked what was wrong. An awful thing happens every night, he said. A witch turns me into a horse and rides me all over the countryside. Ayo, right? A witch riding you? Ayo. I'll sleep in your bed tonight, his friend said. We'll see what happens to me. About midnight, an old woman, always old, who lived nearby came into the room. She mumbled some strange words over the farmhand, and he found he couldn't move. Then she slipped the bridle on him, and he turned into a horse. Bridle or bridle? The next thing he knew, she was riding him across the fields at breakneck speed, beating him to make him go even faster. Soon they came to a house where a party was going on. There was a lot of music and dancing. They were having a big time inside. She hitched him to a fence and went in. While she was gone, the farmhand rubbed against the fence until the bridle came off, and he turned back into a human being. Then he went into the house and found the witch, spoke those strange words over her, and with the bridle, he turned her into a horse. When he rode her to a blacksmith and had her fitted with horseshoes. After that, he rode her to the farm where she lived. I have a pretty good filly here, he told her husband, but I need a stronger horse. Would you like to trade? The old man looked her over, and he said he would do it. So they picked out another horse, and the farmhand rode away. Her husband led his new horse to the barn. He took up the bridle and went to hang it up. But when he came back, the new horse was gone. Instead, there stood his wife with horseshoes nailed to her hands and feet. That's just, oh my god. Imagining it just feels fucking painful. Hey, yo. Okay, that's it for the submission from Shadow. So I'm gonna try to find and read some from Reddit. And yeah, they'll have. I'm only doing this for like 2 hours. So 2 hours and a half. I don't know. I tried Shiro. I'm sorry. Fuck you. So okay, this is Reddit. True scary stories on Reddit. This is one of the posts someone posted. I haven't read it, so I just like chose it randomly. So when I was in high school, I moved to a major city suburb. While the majority of this area was suburban in appearance, there were still some rural features. One thing I hated about this area was that it didn't have the best lighting. Street lights in my area were scarce, so it was always extremely dark at night. My house was situated at the corner of a street and an avenue. My house faced the main street, which was a few miles long and led to many neighborhoods in the area. The avenue that my house was on ran perpendicular to the main street, was about a quarter of a mile long, and made up of about 6 houses. The avenue was almost entirely gravel. At the end of the avenue, the gravel ended and dense vegetation began. This dense vegetation eventually led to a state forest. At the time, I had been dating a girl that lived in the area. In order to walk to and from her house, I traveled the main street previously mentioned and walked it all the way to the end of the street. The end of the street led to a small field. Walking through the field led to a wooden fence. The wooden fence separated the backyards of multiple houses, including her house, from the field. After leaving her house one night, I realized that it was a lot later than I thought. It was after midnight and we had school the next day. So I wanted to get home and get to sleep. After she locked her fence door and went inside her house, I turned around and made my way through the field. Wow, he's so brave to stay at a girl's house and then decide to go back home like after midnight. As mentioned previously, this area had virtually no lighting at night. For this reason, I opted not to use the sidewalk and walk in the middle of the main street. I did this mainly to monitor my surroundings. Walking in the middle of the street meant I could use the moonlight and could avoid walking extremely close to trees. At this point, I was nearing my house and was approaching the area I called the Black Hole. I called this area, remaining half of a mile to my house, the Black Hole because it was the darkest stretch of my journey home. Ooh. There were no street lights and mostly trees on both sides. After entering the Black Hole, I began to hear a weird sound. It was too far to make out clearly, and I thought that it may just be an animal, so I didn't think too much of it and continued walking. I could see a car approaching in the distance, so I momentarily made my way to the sidewalk, waited for the car to pass, and made my way back into the middle of the street. After maybe a minute of walking the main street, I heard the sound again. Oh God. At this point, I realized the sound was getting louder, so I decided to increase my pace. As I was nearing my house, I continued listening for the sound in hopes that I could determine its origin. The longer I listened, the louder it got. Eventually, the sound was so loud that I could clearly make out a forceful inhale, exhale. I was terrified. I knew that whatever was making the sound was extremely close to me, but I decided that I would not look back until I got close enough to my house. Oh God, I just imagined. This way I could utilize the light from the only street light in this area, at the corner of my house. I could hear the inhales and exhales getting louder and louder and louder, until I finally neared the street light. Oh, I eventually worked up the courage to turn around and was shocked by what I see. Oh, when I turned around, there was a man right behind me. Behind me. Not on the sidewalk or on one side of the road. He was so close to my back that if he tripped, he would have knocked me over. That was so creepy. I looked into his eyes and he looked into mine. Oh my God. He then abruptly moved around me and ran down the avenue that I lived on and into the darkness. If you made it this far, thanks for reading. I have a few more creepy stories that I don't mind writing about if anyone is. Oh, bro. And hydrate, thank you, Mijay. I imagine it. It's so creepy, Bodo. Oh, I'm getting chills run on my back. This is creepy, bro. No way. Ain't no way. If you don't trust your gut, trust your dog. Okay. Glad you're alive. What the heck? Uh-huh. I, 25 female, had an experience about 4 days ago that I haven't been able to shake. read the one I sent in the Discord voice channel from the SIP community on Reddit. Okay, I'll read this after I read the one that I'm trying to read. Okay. But before that, let me click on the link just so I can go. Okay. Let me read this one. Oh, pakyulan yon, babi na one. I was dog or house sitting for my boyfriend 26M while he was away on a backpacking trip. My boyfriend's home is in a semi-remote area at the bottom of a hill at the back of a few arches of property. Why is her boyfriend backpacking alone without her? Is he going? I thought, why is he not bringing her along? Hello, you're the girlfriend ko. Who you? He's right next to the highway, which has opposite to us a small rural neighborhood. It's both very sketchy and very safe, meaning that the community is close, but people frequently keep to themselves, and there are lots of abandoned slash dilapidated homes right next to very well kept homes. A pretty typical countryside neighborhood. So I really didn't feel unsafe to agree to watch my boyfriend's property and his dog, Hennessy. Hennessy is a 115-pound jet black American bulldog slash English Labrador mix. He's basically all muscle, and ever since my boyfriend and I began dating, he's become very protective of me and my own dog, Lottie. Lottie is a 57-pound poodle mix. I'm a dog groomer, so she's usually done up in pretty silly haircuts with bows and everything. All of this is to say that one of my dogs is very intimidating and the other is not. Because of his strength, however, I cannot walk Hennessy and Lottie at the same time on my own, and so I usually walk Lottie alone, then go back and get Hennessy to walk him alone. We do about 30 minutes of walking each, and I like to take Hennessy after Lottie at night because I feel safer with him as it gets later. This is important because this was the case about 4 nights ago. I was about three-fourths of the way through my walk with Lottie when I got this really weird feeling that I was being watched. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and I looked around to see that about 30 feet or so back, there was a tall man in a hoodie standing next to an older, run-down home. I instantly thought the hoodie was weird. I live in Northern California and it's early August. It doesn't get colder than 87 degrees in the evening, especially when the sun was still setting like it was at the same time. I forced myself to brush it off as I tend to be fairly paranoid due to my years of reading Let's Not Meet stories. As I kept walking, the sun kept setting and the streets began to slowly get darker. I would glance back from time to time and notice that the man was keeping pace with me, not breaking that 30-odd foot distance. If I turned a corner, so did he. If I sped up, so did he. Finally, we reached the highway and I crossed right before a car came speeding past, hoping that if the guy was following me, this would put some distance between him and myself, which it did. But that didn't stop him from continuing to follow me. I walked as fast as I could to the house, not wanting to turn around, but now being able to hear his footsteps on the gravel. At this point, Lottie had noticed him too and started to bark and growl. I forced her to keep moving and thankfully made it back inside the house, slamming and locking the door, hoping that that was the end of it. It was not. Moments after I'd shut and locked the door, I felt someone trying to open it. Oh my god. The dogs heard this too and started barking because they always do when someone is at the door. There's no peephole on my door, but I can talk to whoever is on the other side. It's a pretty thin door. So I yelled out and asked who was there. Through the barking, I could hear a man's voice. "I love your dog. Can I meet her?" For some reason, the way he said it was so creepy. It was like there was nothing behind it, kind of like he'd rehearsed the line or decided to say it beforehand. I yelled back no and asked him to please go away. He paused for another second and then again said, "I love your dog. Can I meet her?" He starts trying the door handle again, this time pushing up against the door. By this point, Hennessy can tell something's wrong, and so can Lottie. The hair on the back of Hennessy's neck is standing up, and he's smashing his teeth while growling. At that point, I don't know what possessed me, but I threw Lottie into the bathroom behind me and grabbed Hennessy by the collar, keeping him close to the door with me. He's still barking and going crazy. Fuck, man. I hear the man repeat that he wants to meet my dog, and I yelled out, "Leave." He paused and then slammed into my door. I said the door moved, and at that moment I unlocked the door and opened it just wide enough that Hennessy could get about halfway out. He's going bonkers at this point. My hand is starting to hurt from holding him back. Hello, Rap. It's getting creepy, bro. I'm getting scared. I can hear his teeth clacking as he ferociously chomps toward the man. Well, this dude was not expecting Hennessy. He stumbled back, almost falling over, and cursed as he scrambled to stay off the ground. He didn't even look at me, instead booked it up the hill as fast as he could and out of sight. Boo, ghost. It's pretty chilling. I managed to pull Hennessy back in and call the cops to tell them what had happened. I never got a good look at the guy, and they basically told me there wasn't anything I could really do, but they did take my statement and told me they'd contact me if anything ever came of it. I am so thankful for Hennessy. After all of that, I snuggled up with him and Lottie that night and cried because it had all hit me how terrifying that was. I literally went out the next day and bought him the biggest bone I could find from a pet store nearly an hour away because he'd earned it. I almost also got a Lottie something too. I don't know why this creep didn't get the hint when I had two dogs barking inside, but my assumption is that he didn't really realize he was hearing two barks, or assumed that if I had two dogs they were both like my puffy poodle. That is to say, he wasn't afraid. I'm so thankful the guy didn't have a firearm, and looking back now, I probably should have just called the cops and kept my door closed. But I hope that maybe because he saw Hennessy, he'll know not to come back and mess with us, because if he does, I'll let my big sweet boy rip his arm off, bro. That's scary lah. Okay, let's read something that Neon just submitted. Are you here, Neon? I'm about to read your submission. Neon. Oh. Neon. Where are you, Neon? Neon is saying fuck you. So, no sleep. My train hit somebody last night. The detective sitting across from me looked like a stereotypical TV cop. He was gruff, sweaty, and sallow-skinned, with male pattern baldness and an 80s-era mustache. He had a large, ropey scar that ran from just below the angle of his jaw down across the front of his neck. Not dick, neck. You have a stream delay and you expect instant answers. Fuck you. His eyes were bloodshot and glassy. These things are tough. I've been investigating these types of cases for 20 years and they still keep me up. they're suicides, mostly. Ah, fuck, he exclaimed as he dropped his pen and massaged his right elbow. Goddamn arthritis. Don't get old, kid. I let out a half-assed chuckle, the kind you do to be polite and entertain somebody. I barely registered what he had just said. Everything seemed surreal and hazy. Still. We were sitting in an empty coach on the train. The faded fluorescent lighting cast a jaundiced glow on the cream-colored walls and vinyl fox leather seats. These old coach interiors looked like the inside of a McDonald's circa 1995. What's a McDonald's circa? Oh. I realize you've been through a traumatic event tonight, but we have to get the report. We need to take formal statements from crew members as part of our investigation. I nodded. He cleared his throat and tapped his pen on his yellow notepad. Okay, so let's start from when your engineer called in the incident on the radio. I've been a train conductor for the past 9 years. My old man was a conductor as well, and retired last year after 40 years on the job. Oh shit. He urged me to apply after a failed detour through college and a handful of odd jobs. It's a good living, he said. Decent pay, good benefits, and a pension. There were a few downsides. Long hours, dealing with some difficult passengers, and monotonous routines. I didn't mind the work though. I finally had enough seniority to hold a run that I liked, and it paid well enough that I didn't need to put in much overtime to make ends meet. The other downside, the one that every railroader prays doesn't happen to them, is dealing with their train hitting somebody. Statistic. Wait. Hey. Statistically, most conductors and engineers will have at least one incident in their career. My father had 3. He told me about his first one, a young woman who stepped out in front of his train in an apparent suicide. The thing he'll never forget, he said. Posture check, thank you. Was that was that all of the victims were knocked clear out of their shoes from the force of the collision. He explained that the impacts usually occurred in one of 2 ways. The victim would either be struck by the blow on the front of the locomotive and be thrown like a rag doll, or they would go underneath the train and get crushed and cut to pieces by the wheels. The latter was obviously more grisly. It was horrible for the whole crew. The engineer would throw the brakes into emergency, knowing that there was nothing they could do as they watched their train smash into the person. The conductor would have to get out on the tracks to search for the body. This was my last year of the night. It was slow and we had maybe a dozen or so passengers on board. Normally I would have had an assistant conductor with me, but he had called out sick and the company didn't assign me a replacement for the evening. We were about 7 minutes out from our last stop when I heard the unmistakable pop and whoosh of the train's brakes going into an emergency application. The train shuddered and jerked as it slowed to a stop. Ayo. The radio on my belt crackled. Emergency, emergency, emergency. Train 44 to operations over. My engineer called out, his voice calm but with an undertone of panic. Operations answering 44 over. We just hit a trespasser just west of milepost 21. Middle-aged male, white shirt just stepped out right in front of us over. Roger, we'll start emergency services your way. 44 head end to the conductor. Did you copy that? My engineer asked me over the radio. Roger, I'll be out on the ground checking. My heart was pounding. This was my first trespasser strike, our official term for these types of incidents. I remembered from our training classes the procedures to follow to make sure it was safe to get off the train, to keep the passengers informed. I made an announcement over the loudspeaker. Attention passengers, due to a medical emergency on the tracks, we will be standing by here until further notice. Updates to follow. Medical emergency. The company wanted us to use that phrase so as not to cause undue stress or panic to the passengers. Yeah. I put on my orange reflective safety vest, keyed open the coach door, and slowly made my way down the steps onto the ballast. I could smell the faint aroma of a wood stove in the chilly New England air. The gravel shifted slightly beneath my boots, and the dried brown leaves crunched with each step. It was otherwise dead quiet. Even the low rumble of the diesel locomotive seemed distant. There was nothing but forest on either side of the tracks, a vast expanse of wooded nothingness. The autumn moon cast a dim light over the train's stainless steel coaches. I turned on my flashlight and started walking toward the rear of the train. I noticed a pair of black leather shoes off to the side of the tracks, maybe about 6 feet or so away. I could hear a dripping sound, so quiet that I wasn't sure if I was hearing things. The dripping got louder as I continued walking. I shined my flashlight along the rails and bottoms of the coaches. One of the trucks, the component that the wheels and axles are attached to, was covered in a viscous red liquid. There was gray and red streaked jelly along the rims of the wheels. The dripping got louder. I directed my flashlight toward the end of the truck and saw a small cascade of red fluid dripping and flowing down from it and onto the rail, like that elevator scene from The Shining. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. My mouth felt wet. I could taste something sickly sweet. I slowly moved my flashlight's beam further back, and there it was. Buck, oh my God. A pale, crumpled body lay underneath the train, its white shirt adorned with maroon. The right arm was severed above the elbow, and a pulpy stump was all that remained where the man's head used to be. A bit of spine poking out. The rest of his torso was contorted so that his chest was twisted nearly 180 degrees from the lower half of his body. His legs were folded out of sight underneath the... Okay, that's all the info I need. Crumpled, sure, it's crumpled. Bobby, shut up. The detective ran his hand over his neck, twisting his head side to side like he was stretching after getting off a long flight. You're all set. Sorry this happened. He tucked his notepad under his arm and groaned as he got up from the seat. He shuffled quickly to the end of the coach and opened the door, disappearing out of sight into the vestibule. My mouth was dry. I was still replaying what I had seen, the image of that dead man, the blood, the severed head. The vestibule door slid open, and a portly middle-aged woman, with her hair tied back in a bun, walked in. She had a badge on a lanyard around her neck and a radio and pistol on her belt. "I'm Detective Collins," she said. "I'm here to interview you about this incident." "I just did the interview with the other detective," I replied. "What other detective? I'm the only one here." "What the fuck?" I slowly glanced down at where the detective had been sitting. A viscous red liquid had pooled where he had sat and dripped off the seat. Drip, drip onto a pair of black leather shoes. Damn, didn't realize ghosts were so fast at their job. Seems like he wanted to know how he went out or something. At least he apologized. Bodola, what the fuck? It's just a theory. A ghost story theory. Thanks for watching. Uh, hmm. Fuck. Fucking creepy bodo, oh my god. That was a good one. That was a good one. Not gonna lie. I think I can do one or two more stories. It's just theory. Thank you, love. What the fuck? Hmm. There is anyone else here that wants to submit? Thank you for the lurk, Uncle. Let's give Uncle a shout out. Di paru balik. I hope you get some rest, Uncle. Rest, perhaps. Kana tari klasya. Kasyan na. They tari like it's Uncle pulled her away like she weighed nothing. Like she weighed nothing. What the heck? Tell us about Shut the fuck up, Nyan. We aren't we aren't talking about it. Tell us the clip. Yeah. Like Uncle just pulled her away like she weighed nothing, bro. I can do two more stories for the stream and then I'm gonna end. Yeah. 5 hours ago. Hmm. Hmm. Anyone else want to submit anything? I'll be waiting. If not, I'm just gonna randomly choose. Infidelity. What? Hmm. Hmm. This breathy voices, depression, and infidelity. Infidelity la siya. How long is it? Yo, it's kind of long. Okay. I decided to share this after seeing similar stuff happening to other people on here. Back in 2020, I got married to a girl who claimed her family had some spooky slash paranormal encounters once. While we were dating, we went to an overlook in our city where we could see the city lights below and the moonrise above the Rocky Mountains. It was a beautiful spot and a favorite for talking. One of those nights, we were in my car just listening to music when all of a sudden my girlfriend got really quiet and said, "Do you hear that?" I did, but I thought it was coming from her. It was a heavy breathing sound. What's even weirder is that it didn't go away when the music was turned up and became clearer when we turned it off. It was clear enough that, and obvious enough, that I figured it had to be coming from my car. I rolled down the windows, but it didn't increase the sound at all. Well, whatever it was coming from inside the car. I put my hand on the handle of the car, but my girlfriend screamed, "No, don't, please, don't go out there." So I just froze and she just started crying. We left, and I dropped her off at her parents' house 15 minutes later. She texted me saying she heard it inside the house too. Later that week, she had told me her family had heard this kind of stuff before once and that it stopped when they asked a pastor to bless their house. Weird, and I didn't know what to think of it, but a year later we got married. On our wedding night, she told me about a dream she had 2 years prior. She saw a large figure in her dream who pointed to a man who she said looked like me from the back. She said in that dream there was a house, and she was climbing up to the stairs when she saw me with my back turned. That was it. She woke up and I began to turn towards her. During our marriage, it was rough. It was as if anything and everything we planned just messed up. COVID took our jobs, depressive episodes, declining health, car accidents, friends suddenly moved away. Things became issues that we had talked about before. It was all things I thought were fixable, but we eventually moved back to our hometown to be closer to family. During this time, I was diagnosed with a form of depression, and my wife was too. It made no sense. I was relatively happy with my life, and I loved my wife. Things were tough, but not in a depression-inducing sense. We got a dog, and that helped, but then my wife's anxiety and depression spiked. She became a shell of herself. She withdrew from me. I learned at this time that she had 2 schizophrenic family members and her sister struggled with bipolar disorder. I was worried, but my wife promised to see a therapist. Well, I didn't think of it, but my wife requested one that specializes in trauma and schizoid type symptoms management. Then one night we are visiting my family across town. We are in my bedroom I grew up in our bed. We both were just talking and we heard the breathing again. Oh, this time we both just froze. I had forgotten about it. She put her hand on mine and that's when we hear, "Hey!" Oh my god. A moderately deep, breathy voice coming from the ceiling. We both sat straight up and both of us looked in the same direction. We saw nothing. We both heard it. Well, good night, Cheryl. Love yours. Love yours. See ya. Need to work tomorrow. Okay, Raf. Good night. Stream. We got out of bed and went to the living room where my mother was still watching TV. She saw something was wrong and asked us what happened. My wife looked at me and I looked at her and just said, "Mom, we heard something. Somebody said, 'Hey.'" I tried mimicking the voice and my mother's eyes widened. She looked at my wife who nodded in agreement. My mom didn't have an answer either, suggesting it was probably the TV. But that's not possible. The TV was too low and the sound was coming from the ceiling, not the door. The next day we took family photos and during the photo shoot my wife started crying outside of one of the older historic houses. When I asked her what was going on, I pulled her close and told her everything was going to be fine. Sometimes anxiety symptoms cause her to cry. That's when she told me she had a dream of this house and that when she had that dream she saw herself dying. This was the house she saw on our wedding night. We went back to her hometown and our marriage rapidly spun out of control. My wife divorced me. Turns out she had been cheating. It was a tough divorce, but once she left, so did my symptoms of depression and most of my anxiety. What the fuck? I'm sorry you had to go through that, man. Some people have a very bad vibe and attracts dark presences, accidents, and overall bad. Yeah, things like that does happen. Good for him, but that was creepy though. That voice, the voice suddenly called out "Hey" to them. Oh my god! Even the ghost was like, "Dude, we gotta run away from this, but she's cheating on you." And the ghost like, "Run before you still can." That story is actually good. Yeah, it was good. Damn, that ghost was. It was too scared. It was like, oh man, I saw a lot of things this woman was doing behind your back, bro. It's not worth it. You gotta leave. You gotta leave. Hmm. You know what's scary about like these? It's not the paranormal stuff that's the most scary. It's the creepy stuff that happened and it will actually hurt you. Like stalkers, serial killers. I saw a lot of things and my brother this woman is not one of them. True. So, well, let me take a chill pill first. Let's chill for a bit for a few minutes, and then I'll end the stream with one more story. Ah, God, I got some fucking chills, bro, tonight. The stories so far weren't bad. My God. Uh, tell us the spookies are from your experience, Zero. Uh, I haven't really experienced anything spooky in my life, to be honest. I mean, I just didn't care. Your gameplay might be horrific, but they don't count. What the fuck? What? Son of a bitch. Um, wow. Yeah, to be honest, I don't have any spooky stuff that I've never experienced any spooky shit. That's how about my fuck you. Fuck you. You memang fuck. You little shit. Is that how you spell that? Shut the fuck up. I ain't saying shit. I ain't replying to that. Eh, bro, I'm getting chills. Let's chill for few minutes. Then we'll end the stream with one more story. If you Neon um have a what you call it? Have something to submit, let me know. Just send it. Just submit it. Shut the fuck up. Okay, stop with that word. Anjing. Uh, I don't really have any horror stories. Okay, let's do one more. I want to at least get in like 2 hours in and then I'll end the stream. Hey yo. I don't ship pro brown ghosts and stuff. Obviously, no shit. Let's read this one. Oh, it's just like short one. This literally just happened. For context, I live with my dad and he doesn't like it when I go to sleep in the living room, which I did tonight on accident. I got woken up. My dad was shaking me and calling my name and telling me to go to the room and sleep. But for some reason, he was all black and I couldn't see any feature about him, but could recognize his voice. But my barely woke up brain didn't think anything of it. He then walked outside the house and left for work. I got my stuff to go to my room and he is there sleeping in his bed. Cold shivers literally down my neck and back because something like this never happened to me. So when I turned off the light and was about to close the door, I heard walking that didn't sound familiar. You know how when you live with people after a while you can tell whose footsteps are whose? That sounded like it was coming from the front door heavy and fast, so slammed the door shut and locked it. Ran to my bed and am a grown man hiding under the blankets because although I know it's my mind playing games with me, it's still terrifying being that it's my first time something oof that background noise. This realistic happening to me. I'm not sticking my toes out of the blanket tonight. Last thing I want is something to suck on me while I try to sleep. Bodoh lah. The fuck? Okay, one more. Something. The cursed town in New Hampshire. And my friend attacked by something unknown. Stalked at the beach. When my cousin and I were 18 and 16, I would regularly pick her up from her house at night and we would go to the beach to smoke weed. We lived in a beach town and would frequent different public beaches to try to keep it random since at this time weed hadn't been decriminalized yet, 2008ish. The entrance down to this particular beach was down a steep road. Once you came down the hill, the road flattened out to a long one-row parking lot overlooking the water. We were always on the lookout for cops driving down, and once they were on the hill, you would be able to easily identify a cop car and make your plan to leave. There were also random cars that would come in and out doing the same thing we were doing, though no one ever bothered each other. One night, I had picked my cousin up and we drove down to the beach and parked in the lot right next to the sand and started our usual activities. The occasional car would come down the hill and park or leave, but for the most part, we were alone in the lot. Until a minivan came down the hill and pulled into the lot. They didn't turn to park but sat for a few minutes with their headlight pointed straight at the driver's side of my car. My cousin and I were getting annoyed, of course, since the car was blinding us and we debated leaving. Then the car drove towards the end of the lot, past where we were and turned around, this time pointing their lights directly on the passenger side of the car. Now, we were starting to get paranoid and hope that they maybe were looking for someone, maybe thinking it was a parent looking for their teen partying at the beach. We just sat and waited for them to leave. With relief, they finally started to drive and seemed like they were leaving. As they passed the back of my car, the minivan stopped directly perpendicular to my car, blocking me in completely. We kept trying to look in our mirrors to see who was in this car and what they were doing, giving them the benefit of the doubt of maybe being some kind of space cadet. This quickly subsided when we heard one of the doors open, and I turned to my cousin and said, "We need to get out of here." I quickly turned on my car, an old sedan, and gunned it forward onto the sand, which was my only option. Somehow my car had traction and I managed to turn around on the beach and back onto the paved parking lot towards the entrance. The minivan immediately followed us as I sped up the hill out of the beach. They kept my speed down the street while my cousin and I screamed in terror. Fortunately, I grew up in a surrounding neighborhood and managed to lose them after some quick turns and prayers. We never saw the van again and stayed away from the beach for a while. Looking back at this situation, it seems like it could have easily been people trying to traffic us or who knows what, but definitely nothing good. Uh, that's horrible. Glad they were safe, and I still haven't reached the 2 hour mark. I guess I'll have to continue until we do. Uh, I'm kinda, I feel weird though. I feel chill down my spine. And this background noise isn't helping. Fucking bitch. So horror movie 1 when that is free, when that is available. He's the one that's gonna be streaming it, not me. I'm just a widow shiro. Ooh woo. Terrifying. You underestimate. Oh my god, this might work. Okay. I was 15F and my best friend, let's call her Ari, was 14F. We were huge stoners back then, our whole friend group was. That day was so rainy, and as our friends were all skaters, it wasn't shocking that no one wanted to hang out that night. Uh, Wet ground means no skating 9 times out of 10. Well, her and I still wanted to smoke a few blunts, so we went out that night. I can't recall if we left our homes and met up or if we were already together in one of our homes and went out together. Either way, we went out and figured which of our many safe spots would be driest. We settled on this one spot at the handball courts of my elementary school. I'm going to try and describe this spot as best I can. So it was a yard to my elementary school with handball courts, and we sat on a bench under a massive tree. In front of us was a big slope going down for the teachers to drive up or something and park, I guess. So we would have to stand up, make a right, then a left, and then walk down the slope in order to exit. And at the bottom of the slope was a huge basketball court, like 10 of them altogether. And behind that was a big playground. Public park property stuff, but somewhat connected to the school. Across the street was a huge patch of woods, another spot of ours, and a playground, sprinkler, basketball court, the works, where our group would hang out when we weren't smoking. This night was so quiet. Not one soul was outside, because of the wetness, I guess. And it was summer break, so dolls were likely asleep preparing for work tomorrow. So we're sitting on this bench and we're both rolling up blunts. Play music, whatever. I noticed from way away at the end of the basketball courts and just before the playground, a huge man is just sitting there on a bench. Now it was quite far and it was so dark, hazy dark, like fog with streetlights, but I could tell from the silhouette he was a big dude. He's directly facing us. I tell Arya, and her being the more reckless of us two, she's like, dude, chill. Chill out. We're gonna smoke and go, we're good. And me being the really on guard one could not chill out. We're smoking, I keep telling her something isn't right. I make her turn off the music. My senses were heightened. What was this clearly grown man doing in the wet park at midnight totally alone? He himself wasn't smoking. He was on his phone. Why was he stiffly facing us directly? He didn't turn his head once our entire session. I mentioned this all to her, and towards the end of our plans, she finally agreed something was really off. But we were leaving, so let's just go, Arya insisted. Now, if you recall and understood my description, we had to walk down the ramp to exit. This also meant getting closer to that guy. Far from him, but still closer. And he'd obviously see the direction we were going for a minute or so, as it was a huge ramp. We make that right, walk for a sec, make the left to head down the ramp. The whole time me and Arya are holding each other so tightly. She's freaked out now. My eyes don't get off the guy for even a hair of a second. I'm so focused but also freaked the heck out. I keep telling Arya, don't run yet, do not run, relax, relax. I was probably trying to convince myself the same, to be honest. I just felt like if we start running, he would know we were scared. I can't explain why, but I felt that would make things worse. She's clutched onto me and mumbling things in my ear along the lines of, "Oh shit, Anna." Not my name, but for the story's sake. "I'm gonna shit myself," I tell her. I tell her, "Shut up," as her talking is making it hard for me to focus. Mind you, this is all in a matter of seconds as we walk down the ramp. I tell her so sternly, no matter what happens, do not leave me. We're not even halfway down the ramp when the dude very slowly and stiffly rises up from a bench. Me and Arya grab each other so tight and pick up our pace. She keeps repeating my name out of fear. My eyes are locked on him. He's huge. Then in one swift movement he goes from totally frozen to darting it directly towards us. I mean, this guy was seriously running and his legs were so long. His strides were massive. The second he takes off directly for us, Arya and I drop our grip from each other and bolt down the ramp into the middle of the road. I was on track and also cross country. I could run a mile in about 6 minutes, and my breath control was really impressive, but I was only 5 feet tall or so, and this guy was definitely 6 feet plus, and he was hungry. We're running and screaming. I kept repeating, "Don't leave me!" All I could imagine was him grabbing one of us. I realized I had to trust Arya to stay by my side if that happened. I had to trust myself to attack this man if he grabbed Arya rather than me. The second part of the realization probably scared me even more than the first part. Again, this was all in a matter of 1 minute max. Like I said, it was totally a wasteland outside that night. So even what was usually a busier street during the day was so dead so late at night in bad weather. I'm not sure why, but I guess telepathically agreed. But we, what is this? Agreed to run towards where our group usually chilled when we weren't smoking, that park across the street. It was across the street and down the block. It was a block that went around a baseball court, so the entire run we could see the guy darting towards us and making his way onto the road behind us. We thought by some small chance we'd see our friends, old boys, some quite older than us too, and be saved. We were wrong. It was deserted. I could feel us both becoming exhausted when we realized we probably wouldn't see anyone for over a mile, and that would be by absolute luck on a night like tonight. Oddly, as we continued to run, we saw a man on his bike. We ran to him begging for help, but he didn't even look at us. He almost didn't seem real. It scared the hell out of us how he ignored us and just biked away calmly as we were sweaty, hysterical, obviously in trouble. We ran and ran until he reached an overpass of a highway that was still empty, but at least had way more streetlights. We hadn't looked back for a while now, but when we reached the overpass, we noticed the huge guy was gone. I'm nearly 30 now. Arya passed away from a drug addiction from, oh my god, the fuck. We have so many wild stories together. This one not even being the craziest. I miss her dearly and wish she were here to reminisce with me. I'm sure I probably wrote this story so badly that it's not even scary. When I tried to tell my husband about it, I scared the hell out of him, even giving me goosebumps. He too was freaked, wondering what the hell little girls were doing out so late anyways. I never even considered that would happen to us, or me, had that guy caught up to us. I'm not sure what made him quit. Maybe he realized we were not to be fucked with. that he underestimated us. Maybe he just wanted to scare us. I'll never know and don't really care to know either. Anyways, I wanted to share this story in my friend's honor, although I could never tell it well enough. I'm pretty sure we tried to tell our guy friends about it the next day, but they didn't believe us. Her and I never really mentioned it again, but I think about it kind of often. Oh. Shit, man. That's fucking creepy. Oh, I'm 3 minutes. Let's just... Okay, I'm gonna... Oh my god, I hate that freaking background sound. So freaky, bro. Not to a more chilling one. Uh, how was it, everyone? How was the first night of uh, Spoopy Friday? Is it okay? Would you all want me to continue this? But the next one will be like 2 weeks from now. Oh, sakit oh, sakit, killing. I got chills. Let's see who's streaming. Uh, oh, it's nearly 1 a.m. Who's streaming right now? There's 𝗦𝗣𝗢𝗢𝗢𝗬, but I already rated him like a while ago. Pastel, there's Pastel as well. Ayo. Breathe. Artist streaming. I guess that's rate Artie. Thank you everyone who stayed. I guess this is a success. Wait, let's put out raised messages first. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna rate RT later, but first, thank you for anyone who stayed. Thank you again from MJ for the 5 gifted subs. Really appreciate it, and I thank you everyone who participated in this Spoopy Friday. With I guess I kinda had fun. Gave me fucking chills. So the next Spoopy Friday will be by the end of this month. Yeah, on the 30th August. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm gonna rate RT. I hope you got to see you guys soon in the next stream. Oh yeah. Oh. Alright, yeah, mata ne. Good night everyone. I'll be in my Discord chilling. Ooh woo.